got some sample data from a fictitious greengrocers who sold apples, pears and oranges in the first quarter of the year in January, February, March. We're going to work out the total of fruit sold for each item, to work out our income, and to work out whether we made a profit. But to start off with, we're going to calculate how many items of fruit were sold at the end of each month. And we're going to do that in cell E4. To do that, we're going to use the sum function. So each function starts off with the equal symbol to initiate the function. We then enter in the function that we're going to use. So I've typed in sum. We open the bracket, and then I'm going to highlight or select, or I could even type this in, the data for the data for the cell range. I want to close the bracket. So we can see here along the top, equals sum B4 colon D4, and every time we open the bracket we must close it. Press the enter key to move down. So the total number of fruit sold in January was 26. That was 6 apples plus 8 pears plus 12 oranges equals 26 items of fruit that were sold. I'm going to do the same for February. To start with, I need to place my cursor within the correct cell. I'm going to type in equals, the name of the function, which is sum. I'm going to open the bracket from my range and highlight the data, and we can see the formula building. Equals sum, open bracket, B5 colon replaces the range to D5. I'm going to close that bracket and press the enter key. Same here for March, starting off with it equals sum, name of the function, open the brackets and highlight my data, B6 colon D6. I could have used the fill down command, but for the sake of demonstrating the sum function, I haven't. However, I will use it later on in the demonstration. So there was 26 items of fruit sold in January, 23 items of fruit sold in February, and 25 items of fruit sold in March. Now, using row 7, I've got the row title total. I'm going to carefully place my cursor in the cell underneath the range for the apples. What I want to do is calculate how many apples I sold in the first quarter of the year. Starting off with an equals, I'm going to enter in the sum function, open my bracket and type in the data in that range. You see the formula building, B4 colon B6. Press my enter key. So demonstrated over here already how to use the sum function, which is the same function as over here. So what I'm going to do next is demonstrate the use of the fill function to copy this data across, because the total number of pears sold for the first quarter and oranges for the quarter uses the same function, the sum function. And in fact, same over here in cell E7 will contain a formula that adds up the total number of fruit sold in the first in January, February, March. To do that, place my cursor in B7. If I hover my mouse over the bottom right hand corner, can you see that it changes to a small cross? Click down on my mouse and I fill across. Click away, select it. There were 19 pears sold in the first quarter and 31 oranges. We're going to now look at the income. So we sold 24 pieces of fruit, and each apple was sold for 9p, a pear was sold for 11 pence, and an orange was sold for 12 pence. So it'll be a simple multiplication calculation that we're going to do. 9 times 24 for the apples, 11 times 19 for the pears, 12 times 31 for the oranges. I'm going to place the answer or the formula in row 9, which has got the row heading income. So carefully placing my cursor in cell B9 over here underneath for the apples, and I want to calculate the 9 by the 24. Now that may be a simple calculation to do in your heads or a calculator for some of you. However, we do what's called spreadsheet modelling because later in the year he may increase his prices for these apples, pears and oranges. However, we want the formula to still work. Starting off with an equals 24 for the apples, and I'm going to use a multiplication symbol. You've got 2 on your keyboards, well you may only have 1. There'll be 1 with the number 8 on your keyboard along the top row underneath the function rows, and some of you lucky people may also have a keypad over on the right hand side, just making sure that your number lock is on to access the keypad. So the multiplication symbol and against the sell price, which is in B8. So B7 times B8. So he made £2.16. What I mean by spreadsheet modelling is that he may have increased the price of the apples from 9p to 10p. So if I overtype this 9p by 10p, press my enter key, you can see that my income has shot up. I'm going to use my undo button to take me back. So I'll do the same for the pairs, starting off with the equal symbol, and it's a total number of pairs sold multiplied by the cell reference that holds the cost for the pair. Same again for the oranges. So we've got the total number of our oranges sold multiplied by the selling price of the oranges. What I'm going to do is to improve the appearance of this spreadsheet, I will actually later format this to financial data, but we're working in lower denominations, pences, to just make this spreadsheet easier to understand. The buying price for each item was 5p. So he bought the apples from the wholesalers for 5p. He bought the oranges from the wholesalers at 6p and the oranges at 7p. So we want to work out the profit. Now we can see over here on this, to work out the income, we used 2 rows. We worked out the selling price, we worked out the income by multiplying the sell price by the total. So now we will work out the profit by entering the formula, opening the brackets, B8 subtract B10, close the brackets, multiplied by B7. So what we've done here, the subtraction for B8 and B10 are protected by the brackets. Remember the BODMAS rule, brackets over multiplication, addition and subtraction. So that subtraction went before, so those cells stayed together within their formula, and then it was multiplied by the contents of B7, which is a total. So the sell price was multiplied by the income, first of all, and then that was multiplied against the total. What we can do now, again, is use the fill command across. So hovering my mouse across in the bottom left-hand corner and fill across. So we can see here from this spreadsheet, we'll just check the contents in C11. So the formula is equals C8 minus C10, first of all, which is the £1.71 multiplied by 6p. No, sorry, 171 pairs by 6p, and that went first, and then multiplied by the 19 pence.